give me some chat and we will have some idea what's going on here. I am in St. Petersburg, Florida. This is the Driftwood neighborhood, and it's a wonderful, charming little neighborhood. It's the kind of place that makes you realize why people wanted to move to Florida in the first place. So we are going to walk in here, and this is where the estate sale is going to be held. Now, I just got the keys to this place yesterday, and I'm not seeing any chat. So are you folks not able to hear me now? We are having a little bit of trouble. This is in beta testing still, and I'm afraid I'm a little beta myself. So the combination, hi there, Mary. Can you hear me, Mary? I am here now, yay. Oh, good, I'm glad I'm here now. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, somebody please let me know. I hear you. Yay, thank you, Christy. Okay, that's wonderful. Ah, very good. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you all. And I am very happy to bring this to you. Look at this beautiful neighborhood. These are the old Florida neighborhoods. This is the kind of thing that people moving down here to the new suburbs don't really get to see, because you have to live in a place like Driftwood where it's been here since the 1920s or 30s, and they have left everything to grow. It's just so beautiful. And on the corner at the opening to Driftwood is this cute little house, and this is where I'm conducting an estate sale this weekend. Now, I did an estate sale here, oh gosh, down the road for this fellow's brother several years ago. And that's the reason I'm doing this one, because it's kind of on the small side, but it's a cute house and he does have some nice stuff. I just got the keys yesterday. Sorry, I'm trying to hold the camera as steadily as possible while also walking into this place. But it's just the sweetest neighborhood. It's so jungly here. His brother's house was a block over on the waterfront. We're very close to Tampa Bay here. And 10 minutes into his sale, everybody stopped shopping. And I thought, what's going on? And it turned out everybody was watching a school of porpoises swim by, which I thought was really cool. So we're going to walk in here. It's not a huge house, but it's a cute house. And this fellow, he's 92 years old and he's downsized. So that's why there's not more in here. Now I'm inside, so let me know if you're still hearing me, if you're still able to hear the chat and follow along. So I'm walking in here now. I've just started to discover what's in here. I would say that as of the moment of this video starting, I've just finally seen everything there is in the place. So I have some idea. And well, he's got some really neat stuff. Now, this first area here, though, is his sun porch, and his sun porch was completely empty. He took everything in the sun porch for his new place. And because of that, I have a friend who used to be an antique dealer who has gone out of the business, and she said, would you mind to take a bunch of jewelry? So I have a big old bunch of costume jewelry, and I'm going to do a whole jewelry room here along with some cute prints that she gave. This is an artist who's known. I believe the name is Adams. So I'm going to have to look that up. Emily Adams. There we go. Yeah, you can see down in the corner there. These are prints. And yes, Lorraine, I'm sorry, the picture probably will be a little fuzzy. I'll try to move slowly. Hopefully things will be bright enough and will have decent signal. It can be a little iffy on live sometimes, and we're sort of at a corner of the town where the reception can be in and out. But all these boxes are full of costume jewelry, and so there will be 2 tables or maybe 3 full. She also has this iCart print. I took that to a show for her and didn't sell, so we'll sell it at the estate sale. A couple of more of these Emily Allen fashion prints. And yes, Zeno's right. It is often fuzzy at the beginning, and it comes in better as time goes. Again, this is still beta testing time for this for YouTube, and I'm learning as I go as well. Oh, there's a butterfly outside. It's very easy to get distracted by nature in such a nice neighborhood. Now, this is a rather old mirror. The glass has been the issue with these because they're usually replaced. And this one seems to be, because look how thin it is. You can't really see a reflection. So this is an old frame with a newer piece of glass, but this frame is something similar to what they were doing, gosh, back in the, right around the early Federalist period. So we'll have to take this off the wall and see what era. I suspect this is Victorian era, like 1876 reproduction, but that means it's 100 some years old now. She also has a case she wants me to sell. These cases like this, these metal cases sell for $150 and $200. So that's a nice thing to put into an estate sale. Now we're going into the part that's mainly the things that were here when I got here. And it's kind of a hodgepodge because I told them do not clean for the maid. When you're organizing and getting your, the organizers were trying to help him sort and pick through things. I said, you just focus on keeping what you want and leave everything else in a heap. And I'm sorry, Lorraine. I think that we're just a little we're easily jangled because we're new to this, and I apologize that that wasn't meant in a personal way. I think it's just that we're trying to do so much, and we don't always know how to adjust. So, in the meantime, this is something called the Federal Shape by Syracuse, China, and that there's a set of that. It looks like there's some Luray. I believe all these boxes are various dishware. This is that era where people really loved having different place settings. And one of the most popular of all time is Blue Willow. And there is a lot of Blue Willow here. Let me see if I can get this to where you can see it better. I'll try to move slowly. So of course, the Blue Willow pattern originally came from tea wrappers coming off the ships from China. And the people that have made it are numerous, lots of companies in the US. This one is Homer Laughlin. It has a date stamp of 1938, but this stuff has been made for over 200 years. And let's see here, the teapot. This is by, it appears to be a Japanese company from the 1930s. So when you see old collections of Blue Willow, a lot of people mixed and matched. So we'll have to sort through here because it does make a difference in terms of value. Some Blue Willow patterns are going to go for higher prices depending on who the maker is. The platter will be better here because it, let's see. Yes, that one is Allerton's England Willow. So this is from about 1890. So you're going to see a whole, oh, and it's wet. I just picked this stack out of the sink. There's lots of surprises at estate sales. You don't always know what you're getting until you get into it. This house, fortunately, is nice and clean, so no nasty bug type surprises. There's some nice little mahogany furniture here, the little piece in the corner. And then the big candelabra here, there's a pair of those. Those are quite stately. And people are liking big candles these days. And this fellow was definitely a candle guy. Lots of silver plate. Hey there, Nate. Good morning. Good to see you. And yes, it probably will be a touch fuzzy. This is just something that we can't really control. We would just have to take what the phone gods give us. These are nice little shelves that are chip carved out of very light wood. And they have that Hollywood Regency look, but they're a little older. So I suspect that the estate sale would probably be $20 for the pair. And then we've got Infinity speakers and a B&W pair of loudspeakers. So we do have some newer stuff. Hey, Jace Ventura, nice to see you. The little table there is cute. Now that is Bombay Company. Remember what a big phenomenon they were? And then they just disappeared. And so they're gone, but their stuff does sell. Hi, Kat. I'm using my phone. We have to use the phone for the lives. And so, you know, we're limited to what the phone can do, but it can do some pretty good stuff. Now, these chairs are quite nice. These are a Chippendale style. I say style because they're not as old as Thomas Chippendale was doing his stuff back in the 1780s, but these do seem to have some age looking at the way they're constructed here. So we'll have to do a little research to find what era these are. I suspect probably 1940s or 50s, judging by some of the other furniture in the house, including the big china cabinet over here. Now it's a little dark, so we're going to see if, yes, Bombay Company is a fooler, that's for sure. But we've got some nice concrete pieces here too, a match set. These are the types of things a lot of people used to use on porches and things, but I've had a lot of collectors tell me they've been having theft problems depending where they live with this stuff. So now they're going behind closed doors or walls. But they look good in here with the travertine floor. Now this was outside. It's sort of a makeshift bird bath, but it's a great column. And like I say, this is really my first opportunity to really go through here thoroughly. I mean, I've had enough time to sort of walk through, take things out of drawers and kind of get a feel for it, but that's it. Oh, and we had a wonderful experience too. There are folks on the internet who think fireplace knobs are those three energy devices. Yes, well, we should all be that lucky. And hey, AJ, good to see you. So let's see, there's a very old complete works of Shakespeare and some world history. We're looking for older books that might have some premium value. So let's see if anything. Naked Came I by Weiss. Just the fact that this is older and so big, that's a possibility to look up and study. He was an antique collector. That's why there isn't more left in the house, because he took a lot of his favorites with him, which I don't blame him. Okay, I don't see anything jumping out at me out of these books yet, but we'll have time to look. And then, hi there, everybody. Here we are. I am looking at a lovely mirror, a big oval mirror. This is nice and old. This is probably 1920s, and it seems to be in pretty good condition the way around. I think it is just a gorgeous, gorgeous mirror. And yes, the Florida sun, it's very, 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 very pretty out today. It's the kind of day that makes people want to move to Florida, as opposed to the summer when it's 95 and they want to go the other direction. Little cane seat here by Cradell. An old Courier and Ives. You know, these sell for about $10 or $12 now. They used to go for more. They still sell the prints in them. I think this one does. Yeah, there's an example. Courier and Ives was so big in the mid 20th century as a collectible that a lot of people got into it. And then this Treasures of the Louvre. Art books are usually worth $10 to $15 plus. Some can be in the hundreds. So I always charge $5 for them minimum at an estate sale. Here's a nice Limoge tray. I didn't see other Limoge in the house, but there's a nice piece there with the small flowers from about 1910. Little hardstone Teutel. This is I can never say turtle properly because I always think of Bugs Bunny when he does the tortoise in the hair. This is a little Satsuma bud vase. And then this, even though it looks like English, and I'm not sure who made this, the shape looks familiar. Okay, this is, oh, Crown Ducal. Okay, very much the same company that made the nice pieces I had. And this cake stand here is Jeanette's Constellation. Notice it's got a little hole in the middle. And the reason for the little hole in the middle is you're supposed to put moisture in there, and then that'll help keep your cake fresh longer, especially if you didn't have a cake dome. And I like these barley twists, but I especially like this table. Now, this table does appear to be truly antique. I believe it is at least 100 years old. And so thank you. I'm glad you're getting to go through this with me. You stayed in Kentucky for this one. Yes, yes. I've got this one under control. It's pretty small. My cousin's going to help me. My other helpers who I use, it's not a huge sale, but we'll have a lot of fun with it. There's a nice shell pattern in the middle of this. These shell patterns originally would have identified this as being a Newport, Rhode Island, or that vicinity piece of furniture, because that's where a lot of the shell motifs originally were in American colonial furniture. I think this piece is probably around 120 years old. These can be old, but these do not feel like the old ones. The old ones would have a lot of wear. And then I like these barley twist candles with the wood. He had a lot of art. He took a lot of his favorite pieces. This is an artist who did the oldest schoolhouse in the United States, which is in St. Augustine, Florida. There's a couple of botanicals there. And then, oh, I think I kind of went by the mantle and didn't really show you the things on the mantle. And there are a few, there's mirrors everywhere in this house. You can see there's some terracotta behind me up on top of that cabinet. And then here we've got, okay, this urn, oh, it's too bad. It's missing its lid and it's not in good shape. This looks like it's Austrian from about 1890 with the very fine detailed painting. Oh, hey, Susan, your dad's family's from St. Pete. I do like St. Pete a lot. It just has, it's the biggest overgrown beach town in the country. It still has a beachy small town feel, even though there's 250,000 people here now. and people are just coming in droves. It's amazing how much new construction downtown. This is a lovely little porcelain clock, and I am hoard hesitant. I have 8 generations of family things and one large house to deal with. Well, yes, and a lot of people are in that state, and that's why people like me get hired to do estate sales. This one's got the nice 8-day clock instructions on the back. So it has all of its original stuff. This is going to date to sometime around 1900 now. It's been replaced with a quartz motor. So it's not going to have as much value. But in a practical sense, a lot of these old movements are really hard to restore for an economical price. So a lot of people are doing that. Well, beachy and small town in a relative to California, where I grew up, in a beach town way, I guess. What a nice face on that, though. This will date to about the 1890s. It's got this nice European harbor scene. I think someone will like that. This piece here with the medallions is Italian. Okay, and then this is a Wedgwood piece. I've seen this one before. Yeah, it's very faint, but you can see the Wedgwood mark there. This is an older oil lamp. One of the best ways to tell how old an oil lamp is if it has its original mantle, is to look at the burner and see where things were made. If it says Hong Kong, it's 1960s. If it says England, oddly enough, some of the English acorn ones are relatively new. But if it says USA or nothing and has that sort of dark patina, then there's a good chance. And we are selling everything in this house. The sconces will go. The fireplace stuff will sell. The lions by the fireplace sell. I think these guys are really great. If I came to this sale, I would buy them. Oh, you spent the summers in the 60s and 70s in Gulfport. That must have been a wonderful time to be here. Now, here we have a grandfather clock. I love grandfather clocks. This one is a really beautiful one. I should say, a tall case clock. But this one, even though it has some nice age, you can see it says chime and silent, and it appears to me from the face that the way this is done looks like something from, and with all the tracery, I would say, again, this is probably an early 20th or late 19th century version. It's not as old as clocks, which can still sell for thousands. And you can tell from the style of this pendulum, it's either been replaced or it's a 20th century clock. But it has nice tracery. The problem is there's just so few people who are buying grandfather clocks these days, and it's not really a Florida thing. So I may end up having to take that elsewhere for him to sell, but we'll give it the old college try. Let's go into the bedroom here. There's just 2 bedrooms. It's not a big house. Let's see. This place here. Oh, this is rather nice. This is in Latin and it's Genesis, but it's a very pretty chromolith print. Oh, Susan, I'm sorry. Did I misunderstand? I thought you were gone. That's, well, get a hold of me because I'm coming back through in a couple of weeks. Let's get together. In the meantime, we've got in Latin, I believe, the first part of Genesis, and they show a lot of really interesting scenes. There is this, which I suspect is Cain and Abel. I believe you have the Garden of Eden there because there's the snake in the tree. This is just really pretty and really well done. The more I look at it, the more I like it. So this will be a neat thing to figure out a price. I haven't actually had a piece quite like that. Nice marble-based lamp. We do see a lot of Italian design in Saint Petersburg. There's sort of a Mediterranean feel to this place, and it seems to translate well. Then just a lot of sort of regular brick that you see in people's houses. Most of this is not terribly old other than the ancestress portrait here. I don't see anything else that really is. But there are more than just antique collectors who come to these estate sales too. So there will be somebody who buys things for practical purposes. This is a nice semi-antique wool carpet. Again, I don't know how much this is going to show because it really is as bright as I can make it, I'm afraid. I think you get a feel for the pattern though. And this chest of drawers, this is more of a practical thing, very dark. Let's see if I can get here, and there we go. Okay, this set of tiles, they look Italian, but no, I think maybe Spanish. Oh, and someone wrote Spain on the back, so good guess. They're supposed to be decks, I guess, are these supposed to be card decks or are these for tarot or something? I have to say, I don't completely recognize what they're doing there, but I think it's interesting. This bed has a painted headboard. It is a very, okay, it helps when you linger on a shot because the thing clears up. Okay, very good. It must be hard not to shop from your own estate sales sometimes for conflict of interest purposes. Yes, I'm glad you brought that up because it is something that we have to be really cautious of. If you're a buyer, you're a buyer, and if you're a seller, you're a seller, and never the twain shall meet, because it's too easy to put yourself in a position where even if you're completely fair and upfront with the, um, yeah, I didn't think they were tarot. I deep down I know better somehow, but anyway, because those have cups and things. Anyway, I'm sorry I got off track, but to answer your question, yes, it is definitely better if you just take your time and you wait. Oh, hi Trina, I'm glad to see you here. There are some art books, and I'll show you some more in a minute. And then if you want to private message me or send me an email at the Antique Nomad at Gmail, I'll be glad to talk to you about art books because I'm sure I could work something out for you. Okay, let's back up a little bit here. And here is a nicely carved, this is a wardrobe. This is English. It comes apart. It does have feet, which I'm going to have to put under it. I guess he didn't put the feet on because it made it too tall and they were too close to those sconce lights. But we definitely have to have more light in here, and we definitely have to have a way for people to see this on its feet for it to sell. But what's nice about the English and the French wardrobes, if it's French, it's an armoire. If it's English, it's a wardrobe. Ooh, very dark in there. But they all come apart. This will come off. The sides will come apart. This will end up being a stack of wood in the end. So whoever buys it and takes it out of here will be able to do so. But it's nicely carved. These don't sell for a whole ton of money right now. If we get $200 for it, I would be very happy. They're really only retailing for about $300 to $400 because so many Americans are having houses made with giant walk-in closets now. So they're not buying wardrobes like they used to. This is a very pretty and older. He has some fun art pieces on the wall. I will have to look into some of them. There is a big art community here of which he was a patron. And so some of these could be local artists doing prints like Sands. And I just have to find out a little bit more about it. And there is a nice little sampler here that probably came from the family saying, "Remembrance is the sweetest flower that in a garden grows." And we're certainly all about remembrance in this business. So the little tiles are cute. And you know, everything sells in a estate sale. This is this current fashion of redoing old seats with this sort of toile or Parisian market type fabric. And that's a cute little thing. And you know, it'll sell for probably $15 or $20. And again, I'm so sorry, there's no overhead light. And because Florida is so sunny, people tend to have a lot of awnings and things that are very dark. But for those of you who like art books, here's an entire collection of the Horizon series from the 1950s and 60s. And these were a monthly, it was like a periodical you would sign up for, and then they would go through various artists and talk all about what was happening in the world at the time, what influenced their art. And it's a good read. And there's a whole bunch of those. There's some folks walking by with their dogs outside. Very pretty blue carpet here. This is one of the better carpets in the house. This looks like a Chinese pattern. And there are a few other older art books here as well. He's got a book on fine porcelain and pottery, masterpieces in painting, the world's great religions, next to the picture history of painting. Now that's a good book. So there are some good art books in here and a little bit of interesting art still. I like this old print I don't know how well it will focus in with my shadow, but I will turn around and show you here on the four-poster bed. We'll give the camera a moment to adjust to having turned. On the four-poster bed, I found some Italian engravings that I will have to research. They look like the sort of thing that you would expect to be maybe museum prints. And this fellow lived in New York and went to the museums quite a bit. Here we go, 1914 from Firenze. This is from one of the galleries in Firenze. And there's several of these old Italian portraits. Oh, and it looks like they're covering up a big barometer. Well, that's a nice thing to find. Oh my goodness, yes, that's a very good barometer. Banjo style. And it seems to work because I don't have the air on, so it is about 80 degrees in here. And we are changing towards fair and dry. So, oh, that's great that that works. That's a nice piece. This is a listed artist, and I think this is worth several $100s. I haven't had a chance to look this one up. It's quite sinister looking. There's our signature, and it's called The Sacrifice, an edition of 30. It does have a little bit of foxing, those spots. Let me show you that. This is a problem when you're in areas that don't have good climate control. And in Florida, unfortunately, a lot of people shut their bedrooms off and the air doesn't circulate, and they don't realize that they are a really problematic thing, and you have to spend a lot of money to get that out. I see someone saying you can't give away a banjo barometer. And well, you know, it just depends on the market. In some places I have trouble. Oh, I see something up there. I will have to give one. Yes, permafunk. Yes, Florida does have a permafunk. Even plastic stuff can get funky down here. I see a little finial up there. So I'm going to, and yes, it is the humidity, Susan, that gets into things. And it just creates lots of problems. So definitely something to be watchful of. If you're living in a subtropical or tropical climate, you really have to either collect things that won't be damaged by moisture, or you have to really take good care of your climate control. So now we're coming into the kitchen, which is the last major room in the house. I did bring in the patio set because he kept the dining set and we needed something in here, and the patio set actually looks great in here on this marble floor. And this is the only thing I've said. Everything else is still just the way I found it. But I did take a little time because I had a little time this morning. I had a little funny incident this morning. They gave me the alarm code yesterday and the keys and said it's really easy. And it was really easy, except that I had a dyslexic moment and put the alarm code in wrong. And even though I fixed it, well, the police came anyway. So I got to meet the police. They were very nice. They didn't shoot me. That was good. And we have an understanding. I know the alarm code, and they're not going to come out again unless I need them. This is a nice 1960s table lamp, a little bit of modernism there. Those sell for about 35 or 40, so someone will like that. Yes, I had problems with tech. Gee, surprise. I like these colored glasses. They're just faintly colored in the glass, but they have all these nice pastel colors. They were popular in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and they're very popular. Yes, I do know that the alarm works. It's great, actually. I feel very secure leaving this place at night. This is a paperweight vase. Notice how it's got a paperweight style base, and then the vase comes up out of it. And those were big in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and are collectible again now. I believe this is a piece of Viking here. So there is some vintage stuff, some old Broadway posters that are framed. This looks to me, oh, I bet this is Dansk. Let's take a look. Anyone want to bet? I think there's more to it than this, but yes, Dansk Designs Denmark. So this is early and it's got a US patent on it as well. So that's an earlier piece. If I can find more pieces that go with it, that'll actually sell for something. It's on top of a kind of cute little modernist chair. And then this is not a Vasarely print. This is another artist, I believe, also named Alan, a different Alan than the first one. But this is actually, these were the colors the fellow really liked in the house. So even though he didn't do a lot of modern, he did get this piece. And I have to admit, I like those colors too. And this This looks like, oh, you have a similar ice bucket to the simulated grain. Yes. Yes, the can't beat the simulated wood grain, that's for sure. And yes, I'm glad they didn't shoot me too. Okay, let's see who did this. Oh, Villery and Bach. Okay, I was thinking it was Port Marion, but that's right. It's Villery and Bach's Botanica line, which was pretty concurrent with Port Marion. I think everybody saw how well Port Marion did with the botanicals and thought they should do it too. And they'll even sell the shelves off of the wall in this place. There isn't much left here that needs to stay other than what's attached to the walls and the house. Okay, a little bit of various and sundry here. You know, again, one nice thing for resellers, if you are looking for, or if you're just in the area and you're looking for practical things to use, we sell everything at an estate sale. So yes, you can get a citrus juicer that has probably hardly been used, or a multi-practic scale, or a nice Cuisinart with the attachments. In fact, he had a lot of Cuisinart stuff. So because of that, a lot of people who are buying for resale can do well at estate sales, even if they're not looking for antiques and vintage, and that's why we get a big crowd. This is very 70s looking. Haven't actually seen that one before. There's another Cuisinart from the 80s, and it's got all its gadgets. Everything in here does seem to be a little bit more uh, clean and decent quality than a lot of estates. And yes, it does look like a big pile the way I have it. But I have to tell you, as estate sales go, this is actually fairly small for me. I usually don't take them when they only have this much stuff in it, but the fellow, I'm helping him with some better art pieces and some silver as well. Plus, I did his brother's estate, and he said, I really just want you to do it. And I said, sure. Let's look at cookbooks. This is something that resellers should definitely check because most cookbooks sell for $1 or two, and most of these will too. But then you can find some sleepers, and let's take a look at these two old ones because they might be just that ticket. Okay, the first one is the Good Housekeeping book. Oh, and it's going to show you, what year would that have been? That looks kind of new look. Oh, I'm glad to help the owner do this because they're nice people, and you know, we all help each other in life, and it all comes back to you. Okay, this is 1947. And oh gosh, this looks pretty interesting. Oh, and look, somebody very dutifully, probably this guy's mother, daily you should tidy and straighten up. I'll bet she gave this to him when he moved out of the house. Monthly, you should clean the outside of your windows. Oh yeah, which month and which year is that going to happen? Good habits in caring for your accessories. Oh yes, she's having wash day fun. We don't have a dryer yet, apparently. Ooh, look at that modern 1947 kitchen. I wish this kitchen looked like that. That would be a lot more fun. Anyhow, this is probably a $10 book. So look in the cookbooks when you go to estate sales. And this one, wow, this is good to see. $25 to $50 every time this sells on eBay because this is one of the first done by Fannie Farmer. And it's the Boston Cooking School Cookbook. And somebody in 1939 who lived in Fort Whipple, Arizona bought this. And let's see what all it's going to tell us. It's going to show us how to make all those lovely things in black and white. What year is this? 1938. So this is early times, and this became a very famous cookbook, and Fannie Farmer became quite famous as a chef. And there you go. Rhubarb punch. Yum. Anyhow, just a little tip there. If you are shopping at estate sales, look at the cookbooks and hope that somebody holding the estate sale is not like me because I'm going to price these higher now. That's my job after all. They'll still be resale priced. I mean, I price for resellers, don't get me wrong. I price everything at about half or less of retail. But occasionally we have to, push something if we think it's really specific to an area. That's why I'm taking some of the art pieces. And yes, cooking books are worth a lot. A lot of people, that's a real interest now. All right, so that's a little thistle tray, the 1976 bicentennial logo, officially recognized commemorative the American Revolution Bicentennial Administration. So all you 1976 babies will have lots to collect. If you're a 77 baby, you can collect Queen Elizabeth's Silver Jubilee. I also noticed that there was a Queen Victoria piece in here, but quite faded. And then this also looks like Port Marion. Okay, and this one is Port Marion's Botanic Garden. All right, speaking of gardens, we're going to go outside, and then that's going to wrap us up because there's just not a whole lot more to this place. I did bring this bike from Kentucky. I tried to sell it at an estate sale there and then realized it's a 3-speed, so it's a beach cruiser. It's the kind of thing people down here love to ride. So I brought it here. Everything else was here in this house. And there's nothing too extremely old interesting out here, you know, a couple of flower frogs, but a lot of practical things that people use. And practical things bring crowds to estate sales. Then you sell them the interesting things. The dealers come for the interesting things. The resellers come for the reseller stuff. The folks come for practical items. And then Salvation Army comes for whatever's left. Some old furniture pieces in here. And yes, it does look like the Wizard of Oz's witch's bike. I have to say that very slowly so I don't say something wrong. Anyhow, well, that was fun. I'm glad I got to show you around, and thank you for persevering as I learned the live. I have a very early Mrs. Beaton's cookbook, interesting read. I think the early cookbooks are especially interesting. My grandmother contributed to the congressional cookbook because she was a congressman's wife. And there is the old Johansson dish recipe from our family. That was in 1958. But there's a White House cookbook that was done in the 1890s by the people who were actually cooking in the White House at that time. That's a really good one. And thank you very much. I'm glad to share this with you. I hope you enjoyed it. I have a lot of work to do, although not too much. The sale will be Saturday and Sunday. If you're in the St. Petersburg, Florida area, please stop by. And yes, the signal and image, I'm afraid, are a lot better outside. I'm sure that as time goes on with these lives that they will get better. YouTube's working on it. We're all working on learning it. So there'll come a point where these will be clearer and better. But in the meantime, thank you so much for being with me. Thanks for enjoying this with me. And I will probably be able to show you a video of what it looks like when this is all done. Oh, show how the tree grows near the house. Yes, this is something I love. I have always, I'll flip the camera. I have always, flip the camera. There we go. I have always wanted a house built around a tree ever since I was a kid here in Florida. And we went to a restaurant called the Kapok Tree, and the Kapok Tree was in the center of the restaurant. So this tree was growing up in the middle of this little house and has now really taken over this little courtyard here. Well, thank you so much. It was really good to have all of you with me. Have fun the rest of your day, and we will see you again soon.